Good afternoon, everyone. Today we'll be talking about balancing psychological safety and accountabilities in team and how this can create a path to high performing teams. My name is Catherine Perdomo and I'm here with my team Gino Abad, Amanda Gumbo, Morgan Mills, and Nyla Weaver. One of the most important questions for any team is how do we hold people accountable while also making them feel safe? The answer starts with how we respond to the mistakes. In many workplaces, failure is associated with blame or punishment. And when this happens, people stay silent. They don't report problems, they avoid taking initiatives, and innovation decreases. But in a high performing teams, failure is treated as a learning opportunity. And this shift does a few powerful things. First, it encourages open communication. Second, it builds trust. Third, it improves performance, which then leads to preventing silences in meetings, low morale, and repeated error because the focus is on solution rather than blame. This topic is especially important for organizations today because growth and innovation requires people to take initiative, and they will only do that if they feel safe.
Psychological safety is the belief that you can speak up with ideas, questions, or mistakes without fear of embarrassment or punishment. It creates an environment where people feel safe to take risks and learn. Accountability, on the other hand, is taking ownership of your role and holding yourself to high standards to achieve team goals. When both exist together, teams can learn from failure without fear and still perform at a high level.
What happens to a team when people feel safe to speak up but aren't held accountable, or when they're held accountable but don't feel safe? Psychological safety allows people to speak up, to share ideas, and admit mistakes without fear. Accountability ensures people step up by taking ownership and understanding what's expected of them. Without accountability, psychological safety turns into complacency. Without psychological safety, accountability turns into anxiety and silence. But when they both coexist, they create an environment of learning, trust, innovation, and high performance. As David Ross highlights, psychological safety can't truly exist without accountability, whereas growth happens when people feel safe to speak up and responsible to step up.
Further research first, there was Amy Edmondson's research, which focused on how psychological safety impacted the team's error rate, specifically in hospitals. She discovered that teams with higher psychological safety reported more errors, which contradicted her original hypothesis. The research uncovered that teams with higher psychological safety experienced more errors because team members were more honest about their mistakes, which allowed them to feel more comfortable speaking up and taking accountability for the errors made. This resulted in lower critical errors for the team as a whole. In general, teams that rated high in accountability and psychological safety performed better. This led into Marie Claire Ross's research, which identified a four-zone theory about team performance. The general idea is that depending on how high or low a team's accountability and psychological safety is, will impact the team's overall performance. The slide details the four different zones and the levels of accountability and psychological safety that are associated with each zone, explaining a little bit more about each zone and how they would apply practically. The anxiety zone, according to Neuro Leadership Institute, fosters an environment where people are reluctant to express their ideas out of fear of punishment, which leads to people to stay quiet with their concerns, which can lead to preventable failures. Next is the comfort zone, which Neuro Leadership Institute explained this zone fosters an environment where people feel safe to express their ideas but don't take ownership of the outcomes or feel particularly motivated. The apathy zone, Neuro Leadership Institute's describe this team environment where people are disengaged and there's little fear in the environment, but there's also little learning, leading to a lower team performance. The learning/high performance zone fosters an environment where people feel safe expressing ideas and concerns and also take ownership over their work and want to contribute. This type of environment is what fosters a high performance in team.
Two actionable pointers. Number one, make risk and issue sharing a standard procedure. What to do? Build a regular check-in into every team meeting. Ask what risks, blockers, or concerns do we see. Set the right expectations. Raising a concern equals responsible behavior, not negativity. Focus on facts and impact. This builds psychological safety and makes transparency a routine. Leader modeling is key. For example, a leader may say, I underestimated the timeline X. Here's how I'm correcting it. Admitting mistakes signals safety. Point number two, End every meeting with commitment clarity. Before closing the meeting, clearly state who is responsible for each task, what they are responsible for, when it is due, then document these commitments. This creates ownership and accountability, prevents silent confusion. Leader modeling is also key. Asking, is anyone unclear or uncomfortable with this commitment promotes clarity, ownership, and psychological safety at the same time.
Thank you for your time.